Hey friends, my name is Megan and welcome to episode 56 of a Naughty Mess Knitting Podcast. I'm so excited for you to be here, for me to be here, for it to be August 29th. Actually, I don't know if I'm excited about that or not. I'm ready for fall. Obviously, I'm a knitter. I've been ready for fall since, approximately July 1st, but I am also enjoying this kind of mild August we're having, and I'm hoping September kind of feels the same. Like, it's been nice here. Some rainy days, which I don't dislike, but also some sunshine, which I'm gonna miss come October. So I'd like to soak it in one more month. Okay. Let's get into the episode. For anyone who's new, hi, welcome. My name is Megan. I am a knitter, crocheter. I mean, that's really all I do. Yarn spinner. Located in the Pacific Northwest. I live just north of Seattle with my husband Mike, our daughter Theo, our dog Winter, and my mom Cindy. Yeah, that's me. I like to talk about the things I'm making, the things I just made, what I'm wearing, which is usually something I've just made, what I'm spinning, the books I'm reading, and other thoughts about yarn, knitting, etc. I haven't gotten questions in a while. I do have some, thoughts and other things I will be sharing, just as they come up, but yeah. That's all. If you have questions, let me know. I like to give you a hot take or two. Okay. Let's get into the episode because I've got a lot of new whips. Like, there's so many, I don't even know. And I have a finished object, so that feels fun. And I have something new last week. So let us start there. I also have a slightly new setup. I have my computer, actually, you guys know me. My computer on my lap, off my lap, on my lap, off my lap, all episode long. I, didn't even think about a good solution for that until last week. But there's two laptop stands in my house that are like standing ones. My mom has one and Mike has one for where he puts, for the golf setup, for the projector. And I just took one of those for the episode because I can. Okay. So this is as we discussed last week, Ever After sweater by Claire Jackson, who is Perfectly Knotted on Instagram. This is a test knit. The test is due officially the 1st, which is what, Monday or Sunday? I don't even know. Whatever day. I am done. My notes are in. My pictures are in. There are definitely people still finishing up, but I've seen a couple of finished ones trickle into the tester chat. Claire hosts her chats on Discord. I love testing for Claire. She's one of my favorites, partly because she's super nice. I like her patterns. That helps. Those two things help. But the group tends to be like, I don't know if it's because it's on Discord or what, but like people tend to be like super encouraging and pretty active in the chat. I'm not a super active chatter, but I will put progress pictures and I love to like other people's things. I'm a cheer people on through thumbs ups and hearts, etc. chatter. But I also like to test for Claire because I like the way her patterns are written. So we'll talk about that just a little bit, even though, I just did Margaret Henley, so you guys already know the gist of this. But yeah, let's talk through the details of what this is, do a fit check, and then talk about the pattern. So this is a 54-inch bust. Recommended ease is 6 to 10 positive inches. For me, this is 7. I made this on 5mm needles. I think the ribbing is 4, not 4.5. I don't actually know. I think I have it in my Ravelry project, and if it's not, I'll add that later today. This is made with Backloop Yarn Co.'s basic worsted, or I think now it's called like merino worsted. It's the same. It's 100% superwash yarn. It is 218 yards for 100 grams worsted weight. The color for this is Wild Terrain. This is like a color she had a couple falls ago. I think she made a Rhinebeck sweater for her mom or something in this color. It is a gray with a a purple tinted gray. I mean, like some purple in it actually, and then brown, but like chocolatey warm brown. So like it's a very interesting color for me. I thought it would be like, I bought this before I was really thinking about my color palette, and I can tell you that's true because at the same time I bought this yarn, which I have had for a while since I've had this yarn, and this color is called Mummy, and there's nothing wrong with this color. This color is great if you can wear this color. I cannot wear this color. This is a horrible color for me. I actually have quite a lot of this yarn though, because I got it to be the background color for a stripe hype or some other sweater. It's DK weight. And I've asked Ariel already, once she gets like her dye pots set up and she's ready, if she'll over dye this for me, because like I literally can't wear this. Yes, I could destash it, but it's perfectly good yarn. And I think like the warmth of this, I could still like over dye a dark enough color that it would be fine. And that's probably what I'm gonna do. Just saying. At the same time that I bought this, which is not really my color palette, I bought that, which is very much not. This one is okay though. It's actually like not, even with that chocolatey brown, really not screaming super warm. So here we are. You can see I'm kind of wearing like a high, I'm like wearing actually just a super high neck tank top, so it's not the best. It goes like a little too far up in the back, the tank top. The sweater itself has a great neckline. Love it. Some of the things I like, the drape is great on this. So this is 7 inches of ease, and it's definitely a boxy drop shoulder fit, but like I don't think it looks super frumpy because it doesn't, like maybe it's partly the yarn is not super stiff, so it's like sitting nicely, but it also just like, I don't know, like it feels kind of sweatshirty. Like that's the look and feel of this. I think that's nice. It's great. Some of the details I really like about this, first of all, is when you pick up, so this is one of those drop shoulders where like you knit across the back and put some shaping in, and that leads you to have like the pickup line is on your shoulder, so you knit a little bit more front, and then you do your neck shaping and you join. So this here is the pickup line, but you do a really nice like little pearl detail, and it's so cute. I think like the rate of pickup for the arms is really nice and looks good. The sleeves decrease rather a lot. That would be a really easy thing for you to change because they're so frequent. You just take some out or just change your rate. I love the way that this fits like in cuffs and everything. I think I said, I guess I wrote this in my project notes. When I block cuffs, I don't tend to, like especially 2x2 rib like this, I don't tend to stretch it out and block. I just let it block so it's a little scrunchier because I would prefer it to be more fitted. Just my general preference. If you blocked this a little bit more, like it would just give you a looser, like slightly, like it would, the stitch count is fine. Like I could have blocked this to be a little wider. One of the things I love most about the sleeve though is, it's harder to see on camera like this, but you can kind of see, this is like a wide band. Maybe, I mean, it's right at the end. Oh, there, that's pretty good. You can see this sort of swath, and in person, it's really, really like it's a little more visible and it's really crisp. This swath here though, you're putting stitches on either side before you're doing your decreases on both sides, and it makes this a really pretty like band of decreases rather than when they're right next to each other or just one stitch away. I think sometimes it like looks a little sloppier, but like this looks so intentional and so nice. I just like really love it. Okay, I really love it. I think it's great. The back is good. It's like just it's flattering, it's fine. Okay, let me sit down. Also, sorry for being so weird because like obviously I could just move the camera further away to do pictures and have my face in it, but like I feel like that would require a lot of work on my part. So if I am a disembodied head for those pieces, I'm, I know I am, but like sorry about it, but also it's probably fine. Okay, so the only modification I think I wrote in my project on Ravelry is that I think everything was supposed to be bind off in pattern. I mean, it says like, or your preferred bind off, right? So I did this is all 2x2 ribbing, hem, collar, and sleeves are all 2x2 ribbing. I decided to do a tubular bind off, so I had to do the setup like to one row. And I mean, tubular being a sewn bind off. I definitely almost never do an actual tubular bind off because I can't be bothered. I knit a few extra ribbing rows also, which I think I talked about last week. It was just a little bit of a snafu in the pattern, which Claire cleared up and now it's fine. My end length is, like, this is my blocked measurements, 54 inches across the bust. The full length is 22 inches. The front neck depth laid flat, so like from the back of my collar to the front of my collar, is 5 inches. When it's laid flat, which obviously that's like kind of hard, like I did that when it was done blocking, so it was like laid out kind of perfectly, but like, you know, whatever. The armhole depth when laid flat is 8¼ inches, which is slightly smaller than in pattern, but I didn't pin much of this when I blocked it. I only pinned like the very bottom of my ribbing so that it sort of matched the length, like the width of the body. My arm length is 16 inches from the drop edge. So, you know, you got to think like that's my armpit's way back here. So that's enough space. My wrist circumference is 6.5 inches, not stretched, but blocked. And length from my underarm to the bottom of the sweater is about 13 inches. And I love it. I think it's like really great dimensions. Pattern wise, this is a pretty simple drop shoulder. I would say if you like the look and fit of it, I really like how she did the neck pickups. I think, again, like this is a thoughtful way to do decreases. It's a good solid pattern. I love the way Claire lays out her patterns in that there's blank spaces and there's a chart of all the numbers at the bottom, so you don't have to go through and circle your number in like a little tiny little like 12 numbers in a row. It makes the patterns not shorter because you're putting in all these charts, but it makes it much easier. Like the actual instructions you read are like these little snippets. And I like do my patterns on my phone or iPad, and I like to, like, I'll mark off where I am so I know what section's next. Like I'll put black X's through the areas I've already done or whatever, to make it a little easier to keep on top of where I am. Okay, that's all for that. Let's talk about what I finished this week. I completed, I was not expecting this. I completed another test knit. It's a good thing too, because I've got news for you. We'll get to that in a minute. This is the Kip Sweater by Rebecca Clow, who is the Abbye. I am done. I'm not gonna put it on this week. I will wear it next week, but we can talk about it. So this is a top-down drop shoulder sweater. Also, it's all the rage right now. This is size 4. It's 48.5 inches in the bust. The recommended ease is 3¼ to 8 inches, and I'm just under that. I used one size up from recommended for the body, which is 5.5 millimeter needles. This is made with Daydreamer Natura Ulysse in the colorway Confiture de Rose. It is 100% merino woolen spun, 202 yards for 50 grams. I have some final things to tell you about it, and because I'm not going to put it on, we can just jump right there. So and I didn't tell you how much yarn this one took up, but let me tell you. I mean, this is all, I always put them in my pattern notes, mostly trying really hard this year. So like this is 5.17 skeins, which means like 5 skeins. There's always a little overage. It is what I used for this. I have a whole skein of this left over because I was going to use this for a weekender, and yeah, I mean, I think this is like similar size to what I would have used for the weekender, but like maybe the gauge is a little tighter for that one. I'm not sure. Anyway, the Kip, I used 7.75 skeins of the Ulysse for this, which is 387 grams. Okay, great. But this is also a really light DK. So it's, let me do math. Even if you did a slightly lighter DK, this is 16, or I use 1565 yards. So if you use like a 246, you'd be using 6 balls and a little bit. If you did like a Rockies DK, I'll tell you, you're looking at like 5 and like most of all of 5, 5.7. So you'd still need 6 balls. Okay. So, and 6 balls of DK weight is equivalent-ish to how heavy this is. which is almost double the weight of like what this is, because of the yarn. Because this is woolen spun, you get a lot of yardage out of it, but it still creates like a really lush and plump yarn. That's like kind of crazy. So think about this, like I am mostly spinning worsted, so I get an even heavier yarn than this. So I'm gonna do a worsted spin for my sweater, and I'm gonna try to achieve sport weight, and I'm for sure gonna use like all 6 of the braids I have to get enough yardage, and it's gonna feel like a heavy sweater. Even though I'm gonna attempt for a slightly loosely plied 2-ply sport weight. But like an actual woolen spun sweater, like this, it feels like it weighs nothing. Like it's so nice, it's so light. Putting it on is very warm, it's so cute. Okay, I have a ton of notes in my Ravelry project for this, so if you want to go check them out, please do. But mostly I made a couple of notes about the Latvian braids. I did a slightly different one than I think the one she links in the pattern. It ends up looking the same, but let's look at that. One of the things I love about this pattern is it's just texture heavy, but she is very conscious and smart about how she does the texture. So at the edges, instead of just picking up where you may have like some parts of it that were 2 knits instead of a slip next to it, and some rows where it's a slip at the edge, you put in this Latvian braid, which just gives you this like, you know, it gives you a point that's like the starting point of it. Like it just looks nice. I think that my neck band ended up being like, I still think this is the right number of stitches to put on, but I think I could have gone down 1 more needle size and this would have just been a slightly smaller. It looks nice on, so I'm not mad about it. And I'd prefer to have, like, it's about the space of this one. I'd prefer to have like it not be against the bottom of my neck. You do those Latvian braids on all pieces though, and then you are just knitting and texture the whole time. So let me talk about that for a minute. What I did say in my pattern, or like my project notes, is like, this is not a beginner knit. This is definitely like an intermediate knit. I wouldn't even tell an adventurous beginner, because I think there's a lot of pieces of the pattern. This is not as spelled out as American patterns. I said that last week. There's definitely parts of this that just assume you understand how to read your knitting. So if you've done sweaters before, you feel comfortable reading things like slip stitches and knits, and reading on the back side, which you can turn it over, obviously. Like I mostly just turned and looked and whatever. But you have to be comfortable with those pieces in order to do this successfully and not get super frustrated. But like the back shoulder, there's just so many details of this I love. Like the back shoulder pickup line is gorgeous. And then the hem I think is really pretty too. So like you're doing that Latvian braid the whole way also. And I just think it looks so crisp and nice. Like look at all that texture. Oh gosh, it's so pretty. Okay, let's see. I changed my mind a couple of times on the Latvian braid, like the needle sizes I should use. I think I would have also, going down 1 needle size here might have helped tighten this up just a tiny bit more. But again, it is kind of a wide neckline. Like, I mean, she gives you a pickup rate, but not a number of stitches to pick up. And if I had just picked up less, I could have made it closer to my also, but I think the pickup rate looks really nice, so whatever, it's fine. When I wear it, I think it just looks weird like this. When I actually wear it, it looks nice. I do think I did not put this mod in my notes, but I will do this, and I don't know what it's going to end up being, but I think she's going to change the stitch counts for where you end up on the sleeve. This, I ended up with, I think 56 stitches. No, sorry, 64 stitches, but it was supposed to be like 80, which is crazy. So I think she's going to change that. I just did more decreases in, but you can kind of see here, like, well, I have a fold line, but you can kind of see where the pattern is interrupted, but like it doesn't, I don't know, I don't find it like super distracting. The side of the body, yeah, this is the side of the body where I like started my new rows, and I think like, yeah, you can kind of see it because there's some of these like elongated areas, but like I actually don't think it's super noticeable, and I love that. I think that's great. So size 4, those things work out well. The one thing I did talk about, and I have not gone back yet because I wanted to show you first, and I'm going to do it next week. So when I wear it, it'll look a little bit different. I'm still going to consider this done this week though. I mean, I'll do it today, because if I don't do it today, it'll never get done. But you can see here. So if we look at this side of the sleeve pickup, it looks great, right? Like the pattern is sitting right at the edge of the sleeve pickup. Now, if I look at the other side, which is where I knit my first row up, right? This makes sense. You're knitting this way. You can see that it's got sort of like this elongated row. And I talked about this last episode, I think, or maybe the episode before, but the sleeve pickup instructions are to knit in pattern, and then you start doing short rows. And this is a short row section, so you can kind of see like this pattern repeat here gets skinny towards the end. You only do a couple rows at the very end, and then you just switch and do it as normal. But the way that she wrote her instructions, like it just was not correct. There was no way for me to stay in pattern with those first rows, just because every other row it's like just a number of stitches between the short rows. It was not possible. I don't know if she's changed it, but what I opted to do was just knit up. Somebody did a smart, they just joined again at the top. I just didn't want another string. So, which is ironic because now I want to fix it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do a running stitch over top to match in pattern, just to give myself that last one, because it would only ever be 3 to 4 rows on the backside or something like that. Like it's going to be fine. Like I'm not going to get stuck or anything. And I might weave up so I like catch it up along the inside. And I'm just going to do that for this, you know, from here to here. It's not a lot of stitches to go through, and that's on the back side of that sleeve, but it's on the front side of this sleeve. So I want them to be like, no one is looking that closely at the edge of your sleeve, but I think like it would look nice if they were the same. So both fronts, you see the pickup line right on the front, and same with the back. Okay, that is all for this. I will wear it next week. You will see it then. I will take pictures next week too. I don't feel like going outside to take pictures in a sweater today, so I will do that sometime this weekend or next week. And that is when, so I'll put pictures, like a picture of me wearing it next week. Okay, that's all for that. I really love the details on it though. That's it's gotta be one of my favorite knits, not the process being my favorite by any means, because it grows so slowly doing all those slip stitches. It's basically mosaic knitting, right? But it's knitting mosaically in a pattern, like not with color work. And but it's so light, it's so cute on. You guys are not even going to be ready for it. So okay, that's my one finished object this week. Let's talk about patterns, projects in order of age now. Okay, I put some real work in this week on my oldest whip, which is the Daydreamer. This is a pattern by Andrea Mowry, who is Dre Renee Knits on Instagram and YouTube, and I am making this for my sister-in-law. So here is where we are. Oh, I don't even have an active needle on right now. What? I forgot I did this last night. Okay, this looks so itty bitty to me. Well, let me tell you the details. So this is a size 1. It is a 40-inch bust. The recommended ease is 6 to 12 inches. I use 3.25 millimeter needles for the ribbing, 3.5 needles for the body. This is Knit Picks Aloft and palette in the colorway Pennyroyal. It's a really pretty, like soft, lilac-y kind of color. I think Pennyroyal's a flower, so it's a Pennyroyal color, but you know what I mean. This is the Aloft is 72% mohair, 28% silk, 260 yards for 25 grams. So like truly a mohair. Pretty light one too. And then the palette is 100% Peruvian Highland wool. It's a non-superwash. It's 231 yards for 50 grams. So like a 460 fingering weight. It's nice and light. Okay. This process has been interesting for the top half. So I did real work. Here is where I was. And also for the Kip last week, I was like really partway through the body and I had the ends of the sleeves to do. So I did the sleeves, then I finished the body, and I did that pretty early in the like mostly finished up until the hem over the weekend. So then I was like focusing on this one. So, okay. So this one, here is my stitch marker, which I have my beautiful Flock 2023 Hello Lavender stitch marker on here. And this is where it was on the body. So I finished like a good, you know, almost 2 inches of the body. And I think, look, where is that? Two full bobbles. Go by bobbles. I think it was the whole chart I had to do, plus like 2 rows. Okay, done. All the chart repeats. And then I split for front and back, and you do the front first, and that went pretty quickly. But you're decreasing only in the honeycomb stitch pattern. It's super cute. Also, only having the 1 bobble through was nice and did not feel nearly as exhausting as going around and doing 6. It's a really cute v-neck. And then you continue and do your part of your neckband. It's interesting. I don't know what's going to happen here because this is not the full neckband. Like you could not fit a neck in there, right? But this is part of it, but I didn't have to do it on this side. So I wonder if you pick up and finish. I'm not really sure. I didn't go back. I didn't read through the rest of the instructions. But then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to try to get what I can of the back panel done. And I crushed it. I did the whole back panel and I bound off last night. To me, this looks so itty bitty because like my arm, there's no way my arm would fit in this hole. Like this is actually not an unreasonable arm size hole. Like I think it's 11 inches or something, but you actually add a 15 stitches, or I don't know, you do some width of, most of this like wavy band you do across the top, which is what goes down your sleeve, but you start it like at the neckline. So I'm going to knit some of it. And then I think you just sew it in. Like, I don't think you knit them together as you go, which would be really difficult. You probably could, but you'd have to do a lot of counting and other things. Anyway, so I don't know how you even sew that down. I actually don't know. Again, I didn't read very much of the pattern. But you see how this is on hold, so maybe it must be here that I pick it up eventually. Who knows? Then I have sleeves. So I really only have the top bands and sleeves. This is like, it feels all wonky crazy just because of whatever you have to add in here to pick this up. But I was also nervous because the last row I ended on was a bobble. And this was like where it took me to in instructions. But I was like, this is going to look so weird if these bobbles are just like next to each other, but not like clearly the pattern because you're not decreasing in the back. That makes sense because obviously you want to give your neckline an actual opening. But because you do that little wavy thing down the middle, like it's fine. You're not even going to notice it. No big deal. So here's my very lovely Daydreamer. This color is to die for. The pattern is beautiful. It's a little bit exhausting of a pattern. I think if you like cables, go for it. In the DK weight, it is a little bit smaller than some other patterns. Just like it's a delicate kind of like the honeycomb is kind of delicate, you know. It's not far off of like some Sari Nordland type patterns that have the same, you know, with the honeycomb is beautiful, but it is annoying because every other row you're doing a right and left twist stitches and they're slow. Okay, that's all I have to say about that. So this is not attached to any yarn right now, but I will at least get this, figure out what the heck is happening. I'll tell you about it next week, like this, what's happening for the sleeve construction, and just get that going so I can start sleeves at least. I would like this to be done maybe like in 2-ish weeks because it's gonna be my sister-in-law's birthday. And this was a Christmas present. I told them they could pick yarn colors and patterns for last year's Christmas, but I wanted to get it to them, you know, earlier in the year. I did the clay sweater pretty early for Caressa, and this one's for Lauren, and so, but I just gotta get done. Okay, next thing on the needles, that's the only other one you knew about because I was down to 3 projects last week. I finished 1, 2 more, and that is my Moonset tee by Ozetta. This is a top-down v-neck, kind of fun construction t-shirt, and this is, it's fingering weight, it's really lightweight. Oh sorry, Ozetta her name is Haley Smedley, and it's gorgeous. I love it so much. I last week had done a couple of rows. I think either I had just connected the body or I was just about to connect the, oh, I think I had not connected the body yet. I had the front, the back all done and the front mostly done. And then I had to just do a couple more rows before I was ready to connect the body. I did work on this, like seriously good work. I've got what, like, I think I have 4.5 inches or 5 inches of the body, almost that much done, which is a triumph because this is a small gauge. And I went and did a sleeve yesterday, just because I wanted to see how much yarn it took. I just wanted to do it. I tried it on today and it's feeling more drop shouldery than I thought at 50 inches. I'm like, according to gauge, I'm dead on, but I haven't like laid it on the ground to measure it, and I'm not going to because I'm not going to change anything, so it doesn't matter. It just may be a little bit wider than anticipated. That's okay. I'll tell you the size though. This is supposed to be this is a 2XL, what I did, the size I picked, and it's supposed to be 50.5 inches. Recommended ease is 4 inches, so that's like just about 4 inches for me. It is, they're made with 3.25 millimeter needles for everything. And then this is Explore Knits and Fibers Earthy Sock in the colorway Sangria from the Spain collection. It's 100% non-superwash merino. It's 436 yards for 100 grams. And I gotta tell you, I feel sad that this is the only way you can see this color. I'm going to try really hard when I do pictures of this. I may have to do a video because pictures wash it out. Like even like pictures in full sunlight that I've taken of this, like don't capture all of the color. Like your eyes are better at capturing this color. There's something about the depth and density, and like honestly being inside here, I can't see it either. Like even, you know, it's not just my eyeballs are better than the camera right now, like the inside lighting really affects it. When you're outside, there's all this like beautiful like purpley pink colors, the bricky red, yellows that are like almost brown in some areas, golden in others, and some orangey, like peachy tones. Like it's just apples, oranges, berries in red wine, you know, sangria. So, okay, so the construction of this though, it's top down. Similarly, your back seam sits a little bit on your back shoulder, and then you do like a contiguous, like I don't even know, like at the same time neckband. So this is just, it's ribbing, it's not double knit, and then it's got an overlapping V, which is really nice detail. It's gorgeous. I've made one of these as a sample, and even though it was a slog then, I decided to slog for myself. I just really love it. I think it's great. This is an I-cord bind off. I at least figured for the sleeves I was not going to change that, so I just did an I-cord bind off, which I did do with my cordsmith because like obviously, and it took me like less than 10 minutes, so obviously like why would you do anything different? And I actually am okay if this rolls a little even after blocking because it's a pretty long sleeve with where the drop is. I did helically knit the sleeve, even though it's a slightly different, like, I don't know, maybe in person it doesn't read as any different color. I think partly it's just like you can tell the tone is different because of the, this will flatten out a little bit when it's washed. Okay. Yes, so I will probably pick up the other sleeve and knit that today or tomorrow just to be done with it, and then go through the body. That also ensures me like I have enough yarn, you know, I do as much as I can of the body, and then I can make the decision of if I want to do a different bind off or if I just want to do the I-cord. The I-cord will be fast because I'll use my cordsmith. I just don't know if I want the roll on the body. I could even do a folded hem on the body. I really don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. If you have an opinion, let me know. I mean, that doesn't mean I'm going to do what you say, but like, I certainly would like to know what people think would look best. So, my friends, as we know, I had a goal for not too many test projects this year. I obviously don't care about that goal. So, I signed up for some test knits this week. More than one. You're right. I said some, and that is also more than two. Okay, let's go through them. The first one that I cast on actually was just like hours before the next one I cast on but I got into Andrea Gaughan's Belmullet Pullover, which I will put a picture here. This picture is already on her Instagram. It's how she did her tester call. And it is a Aran weight all over cable sweater. What am I doing to myself? I have no idea, you guys. I think it's partly why I've gotten so jazzed this week to do the Daydreamers, because I have a bunch of other cable projects. Yes, you heard that right. And I need to get this one done. Okay. Here's what I have so far. So this is going to be, oh, and Andrea Gaughan Knits. This is my first of her patterns, actually. I don't think I've knit anything from her before. I've been on her testing list for a little bit, and I have not signed up for any of the other ones. So I was like, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do this one. And I'm going to use Stash. Go me. So this is Malabrigo worsted, which is a non-superwash, I think, merino, because I'm pretty sure the superwash version is called washted. So this is worsted. It is a slightly heavy, I should tell you, slightly heavier than worsted, not quite Aran weight. This is 210 yards for 100 grams, and the color is water green. I am making the size 5, which this is close to what she used in her sample, though she used like a woolly wool, like a plied woolly wool. Worsted is a single ply, sort of just like, and it doesn't actually look that thick live, but it does knit up super plumply, and it will block out kind of nicely. This is size 5. It's supposed to be 53¼ inches. Recommended ease is 6 to 8 inches. That puts me at 6 and a little, which right there. This is, the recommended needle size is 4.5 millimeters, and I had to go up to a 5, again, because this yarn is not quite so plump. I think the yardage is the same. It's just the way that it's knitting. Like, it's fine. But I think the texture looks like spot on. It looks really nice, and I'm spot on for gauge. So we're good now. The nice thing was that the gauge swatch was actually in double moss stitch instead of having to do like gauge in cables, which is so deceiving because you can just really stretch cables a lot more than, yeah, I don't know. So that's one of the things I cast on this week. This is the back panel. This is all the German short rows. They are now done, and I did like 2 rows of the regular back chart, and now I shall continue with it. I am likely going to do a little bit more of this week. Like maybe I'll finish the back panel, which again is not that many rows because it's going to grow so fast. But I have another test knit which has a tighter deadline. The deadline for that one is December 1st, which is quite long from now. That is nice. I really love testing for wool and pine, and they asked me to test this pattern that I'm going to show you now, and I can. I checked with them. They said share it to your heart's content. They asked me to test the 3 Seasons pullover when I saw them at Flock. So when they put out the official request over Instagram, I said yes, knowing it's a slightly tighter timeline than I would like, but I will be able to finish it just fine. So the 3 Seasons cardigan was out 2-ish years ago, and that's like it's got cables on it, it's got a couple of different textured like sections, and it has lace work, and the lace work is kind of by the armpit, so it's just like extra breathability. And they encourage you to use a cotton wool or like some sort of plant and wool blend, so you can give yourself a cardigan, or in that case the cardigan, or a sweater that you can wear for multiple seasons. That is the concept. It looks like a lot right now. Look at this, guys, but you can see the color. It's gorgeous. This is a size 5. Recommended this is 50 inches. Recommended ease is 4 to 8 inches. That's a slightly less than recommended ease for me, but is the fit that I'd prefer. This, I am using recommended needle size, which is 5 millimeter needles. The yarn is something I purchased, even though I said I didn't want to purchase, which we'll talk about that because it's in my acquisition section since it got here last Friday or Saturday. This is Cascade Yarns in the colorway, Cantata, in the colorway Plum, which is number 21. It is 70% cotton, 30% superwash merino, 218 yards for 100 grams, but it's like, it's a blown tube, super fuzzy, has that like white core colored halo. It's so pretty. This color is going to be so good. Like, look how vibrant and beautiful that is. I really love it. So I did yesterday all of the additions of the back. So this is the shaping. It goes this way, right? So, and this is the opposite way for you, right? So it would be the opposite way on me. So this is the right shoulder, this is the left. You know, it would go like this, but you cast those on with a provisional cast on. You do some shaping to give yourself sort of like, I think I did another one like this. Gosh, I don't even remember when, but it essentially, maybe it was this, I don't know which knit it was, but anyway, you doing the 2 panels and then you cast on the middle so that your shoulders will, I think the seams will sit kind of on my shoulder, but you're carving out some neck space, right? So rather than having a long wrap on your shoulder, like a drop shoulder, even though this may be a little bit drop shoulder-y, it will, you know, it sits like this. So you're giving, like, the front and back will be kind of, and this is a V-neck, will be sitting like your seam will be right on your shoulder. Okay. Do those words make sense? I don't know. Anyway, I did those pieces. So there's a lot of provisional cast on. There is some growing of your own stitches. So when I go to pick up the collar, like, this will be where I pick up for the other shoulder to knit. And then this part here where there is no provisional cast on, but I did cast on some stitches, and this middle provisional cast on will both be picked up for the next stitches. Okay, are you with me? With fine knitting so far, you can see here how it's knitting up. This is the lace texture. It's like so floppy and little. Here's the lace texture. This is like a really fun textured section, which is like little, they're called purl twists. That's what they're calling them. I don't know if they have a different name, but you're like purl and knitting into one stitch and then pulling them off, like, or into 2 stitches. So it just makes these little like bumps that are very cute. Then there's big cables here in the middle. There's one large cable pattern in the back, and then it goes on each side in the front. And then it's just the texture on either side in the back. Oh, I forgot. There's also this little thing here, which this is like a cute little, it kind of looks like a fishtail braid. That's what it looks like, that goes down. And so in the front, as you saw in the picture, like, there's 2 panels of that with the fishtail braid without all the other textures. So it'll be really interesting. It's kind of just like a sampler sort of sweater, but instead of doing sample textures this way, you're doing like all different kinds of textures this way, which is really cool. And the color, it's gorgeous. So that test knit's due October, the second week of October. So it's like 6 or 8, it's about 8 weeks, I think, from when we actually got the pattern. Or maybe we got the pattern last week, so 7 weeks, I don't know, something like that. Anyway, it's a little bit short for a testing timeline for a full-length sweater, but and it's a lot of cable, etc., but like, I think it'll be fine. I have to tell you this too. So the Haley sweater releases today. It's out. Like an hour ago, I saw Iris put in the Discord chat that the link is live. That was like a 6-month testing window, and I've got to tell you, not everybody finished. I think that when there's too long of a window, people tend to let it sit for a long time. But I definitely think that like 6 to 8 weeks is not typically long enough for most knitters. Sorry, my video cut out, so I don't remember what I was saying. But so Wool and Pine also does their testing slightly differently than a lot of other designers, in that they mostly ask people. They don't often put open test calls up. And I think part of that is because they've got a really large testing pool, people who have tested for them before. So it's not like the same 5 people or whatever, but they approach people and ask, like, testers they've trusted, they know and trust, and will get it done in time, like people who knit fast enough. And obviously you can always say no if you get approached, but yeah, that's how they are doing that now. I think if they don't get all sizes covered, they'll do an open call, but they usually start with the Discord, which again is a smaller audience, but like you got to do what you got to do, right? So okay, let's go through so that's the other two things on two of the new things on my needles. And here's a third. I said this was going to be my goal, to do 2 Heirloom quilt squares, and I would like to report that I did it. Here is one. How gorgeous. And here's 2. And these are not blocked. And yes, I am going to block them before they're all done, but probably not until I have like 5 or 10 and can lay them out. That is square number 2. They're looking pretty decent. Like this is not blocked. It's like, yeah, it's not perfect gauge wise, but it's pretty good. I think the tweed helps a lot too. I am not catching floats. I am just doing a crazy thing and I'm okay with it. I was like trying before, like I tried ladder back jacquard for the flat color work, which was a real trial of my brain and skills. I did a bunch of different things. I am really just doing this in tarsia, twists and turns on the backside, and no float catching color work. And I'm not extending to the edges in both the corners and that middle part. So this is what it looks like on the back. You know, there's always a risk a little bit while you are, that it will, you know, you can catch on it and stuff, but it's an open, like there's anything in the sleeves. So as long as I don't have like lots of snaggy things on me, yes, it's an open cardigan. So yes, I could obviously catch lots of things about in my life, but you know what, I'm going to risk it and it's okay. If I really need to at some point, I can also run just like a running stitch or, you know, like a looped over stitch on these at some point to like hold down the middle. I might do it as I'm sewing in ends, honestly, because like they're long enough, like this one here in the middle, and just like sew down a little bit. But I also maybe won't be bothered. Who knows? We'll see. I'll probably, before I block, I will sew in ends, and I'll just do like 10 at a time or 5 at a time. 5 at a time seems good. Emily and I talked about timing wise, like I could probably finish all of the squares conceivably if I did 2 a week for the rest of the year, but I will likely try to get a couple more done some of those weeks to see if I can buy myself some time. I could finish this before the end of the year. This is on my make 12, but really if I get greater than 60% of the sweater done, meaning all of the squares are done and sewn together by the end of the year, I would be super pleased to just do edges and stuff in January. It'll go into my flat lay, but it'll at least be in the used part of my flat lay, like, or the project part of my flat lay, and not in my many skeins left to use part of my flat lay. Okay, it's just things I'm thinking about. Okay, but I feel really good about this. Okay, I do have one more test because I did say have more than 2. Today, I found out I got into a test knit for Sari Nordland. This will be my first test for Sari, and it is for the Aurora top, or Aurora camisole, which is going to be in her spring 2025 book, which it looks like it's going to be a lot more summer patterns. She put out a test call yesterday for 5 or 6 different patterns. There were a couple of dresses and there were 2 or 3 tank tops, and I applied for just one and I got into it. So I feel very excited about this because I test knit a lot, and one of my largest goals is to be in a book. I want my name in the book for testing. This is my legacy. If I finish this test in time, I will be in the book. I'll show you the yarn next week, but it is something from my stash. It's something I actually don't have a ton of. This is like, I could have done a t-shirt with it. It's not a very great color for me, but I don't have to buy yarn for it, so I'm going to use it anyway. To be clear, for this one too, I am maybe going to again rely on my good friend Ariel to over dye it, because this color is like an acidy green color, which is just when it's by itself, it's just not like the best color for me. It's one of those that's like, it's more of a summer color, right? And so it's the opposite of a winter. It's not like I can't wear it. I just don't always look my best in it. And I think the tones, the yellowy green tones of it, if we over dye it like a pretty like cyan, like a bluey blue, that I might get this like really nice teal. That's my hope and goal. But it's also a plant-based, it's wool and cotton, so I don't know if Ariel can even dye that. It'll be, I haven't asked her yet, but it'll be an Ariel, you can comment below if you'd like to. But it will be like a possible experiment, and obviously I'm gonna have some extra yarn, so I'll do a swatch and we'll try to dye that first. But I can't release pictures of this until the book comes out, or posts each of the patterns that are going to be in the book. So I will be able to I will share some on the podcast. She did give us out like an outline of what we can share. I will not share the finished item. I won't share pictures of me in the finished item, and I won't share, like, I won't hold up the finished item until the book is released. So what I might do, if I'm feeling very motivated, is film all like of the extra stuff I would normally talk about and put that to the side to edit and put together for a later release, and just do like, you know, hopefully a 20 or 30 minute episode that's just that top or less. But I think I will teaser you a little bit and give you like a what percentage am I done of the project, and I can show up a part of it, or at least show you the color of the yarn each week, but I can't just pull up the whole thing, which is fine. So yeah, it was definitely a test I was not looking for, and I would not have signed up for a test for her if it wasn't for her book. This is a short test line, but it's also a tank top, and it's also a DK tank top, so I'm not really worried about it. But Sylvan sent to me, and Ariel and Sylvan have a little tester chat, because we're like the three in our knit group that do test knits. And we at first started the year with a pact for no test knits, and that has devolved now into sharing test knits that we see. But Sylvan knew that all of us want to be in this book, so we all did apply for something. I think she's going to do waves of more projects, because this is only 5 projects. There's no way that she's only got 5 in her book. Anywho, that is what I have to share about that. Okay, I have some spinning updates. I finished plying that, what is it called? It says, oops. It says it's 70% BFL, 30% trilobal nylon, which, like I said to you the other week, is like, it's a like nylon that was like little, it looked like mohair, kind of like, it's like little hairs of nylon. It's very shiny and pretty, and I plied it together on Saturday, I think, and I absolutely did not wash it. I didn't put it on the nitty naughty. I didn't wash it. I'm going to do that this week, but I also have this other thing I'm going to do. Hopefully this will be done as well. So this is, I'm going to do, it's a combo spin, but mostly it's just playing with a natural color. So this, I actually don't know what it is. I'm pretty sure this is a super fine merino braid I got either from Giselle, or I bought this as part of my, birthday present to myself, fiber from a D-stash. I really like the colors, but the way that I split this, I'm afraid if I applied this together, it would just be really muddy. Like, it's a lot of quick color changes. And also it's the way I split it, but it's also the way the braid was. And I don't think I took a picture of the braid because it just wasn't really paying attention. I just started going. But the color changes were really short, like very, and repeated. So even if I had split it less frequently, it would still like kind of look like chaos like this. So I had some, this is Targhee, and I had some Targhee this is actually from Flock last year. This is the only fiber I bought at Flock last year, knowing I wanted to take Maya's spinning class at La Mercerie in the fall. And I thought like, oh, I should have something on hand so like I could practice more, you know, even when we had the wheel to borrow, which I did not do. I tried to spin this relatively early into getting my wheel, and I failed so hard. Like, it was so slippy and weird, and I did not like it. And I put it back in a ball, put it in one of my little containers for fiber, and I just said, I will get to you later. well, it's white. It's the only white I have, and I thought this would be nice to apply together so that as quick changing as this, it's not muddy of too quick changing. So it'll be just these two together. I think it's actually gonna look really nice. It's gonna give me 2 braids. I don't know. This I think was supposed to be 4 ounces, but either I'm spinning it rather thicker than the other, or I don't know what's happening. I have not, maybe I'll actually do that right after this before I put this back on the wheel. I need to rewind this one. Anywho, here, let me show you the Targi real fast. Here's a couple reasons I don't actually like spinning this. It's fine. I will finish. I only have this much left, but the staple length on this is so dang short. Like, so short. I mean, this is not even, like, the actual staple length on it is probably like 1.5 inches, maybe. It's really, really crimpy, but like small crimps. And I don't know if it's like just the way that this one was prepared, but when I am spinning it, it tends to want to come off in like these little baby chunks rather than continuing to grab down the braid. So I feel like I'm kind of constantly fighting it to keep it from going thick and thin, even though like it's soft and you would think that like it would put like it pre-drafts really smoothly, but it just is, it's annoying. I don't love it. I will try Targi again in like a different, you know, this was, I don't even know where this was from. This was just someone who had like undyed Targi at Flock 2023. I mean, and it's so soft. Like, it's gonna make great yarn. I just don't enjoy spinning it. I will try Targi again in like just a hand-dyed braid maybe and see what I feel about it. But you can't love them all. I mean, you can love them all maybe, but like you don't have to love them all. This is one that I could probably skip and I'd be fine. I really enjoy Merino. Shanico's my favorite. I like Rambouillet. I like a Corriedale. I love BFL. So like that's a lot. I'm gonna try Cormo soon. That's these braids here. So you know, it's fine. I'm not heartbroken about it. Okay. But that's what I'm doing. So I'm gonna apply those together hopefully this weekend, and that'll be really great. So here's what I required. I got this for the test knit. So this is Cantata again. This also is so cute because that means like song or whatever in Spanish. So it looks like a little treble clef or whatever. And this is the colorway 34, and this color is actually called Emerald, and this is blue. Like, it's blue in person. It was blue online. Emerald is not what I would think to call this. Like, I'd call this ocean or Pacific or, you know, something else, but not emerald. Anyway, it's gorgeous. I'm glad that it looks like it did in the pictures because that's what I wanted. And I actually got this to make a 3 seasons cardigan because I was already convinced that I would love it so much that I was going to do the cardigan too. And it made shipping free and got me essentially like part of the cardigan yarn free to do it that way. So no, I didn't need more yarn, but like, am I mad about it? No. Will I knit it this year? It could be. I could. I don't know. Depends on how much I enjoy making the pullover, which right now, very much enjoyed that. Even though that's like a little bit fiddly, all those provisional cast-ons, like I already like love the way it's looking and growing. So I have a sweater quantity of this, and then I have the, you know, the rest of this one here. Okay, let's talk about books. I read a lot of books this week. I think I had like started a few of them and then didn't talk about what I was like currently reading in the past couple of episodes. So it's going to sound like a lot, but some of them were already almost done or whatever before I filmed. So, or when I filmed last week. So here is, I'll just start from the order I have them in Goodreads. So I read When Grumpy Met Sunshine, which is a dumb name for a book. Let's be really clear. I don't love that name for the book. This is by Charlotte Stein. I will say though, I very much enjoyed this book, like so much. Again, it's a sports-y book, although this is about a former, like a hotshot soccer player in England. And he or his agent wants him to release a book, like write a memoir. And he gets a ghostwriter. And, well, he's trying to find a ghostwriter, and he settles on this gal who is on the curvier side. You know, I love a size positive book. Actually, there's like 3 of them I read this week, but this one's done really well. But in order to keep it secret that she's a ghostwriter, they end up having to pretend to date, and the media is freaking brutal. It is really interesting. The miscommunication that happens in this is actually like, there's a lot of things I feel like are so fraught in this book, but so real and done so well. And just, it's like, part of it is like the celebrity of being at the top of your field in anything like this, like how assumptive people are about your personality and other things just because you maybe don't want to share all your private life. It's really interesting. It was so good though. Like, I just like ooey gooey. It was so good. So good. Okay, so I finished that one. Again, just the title, like, it just like, duh, that's the trope, but also like, I mean, part of it is like, that's not really who they are, but like, it's also just like, that's a dumb title. Okay. I am still reading some Elle Kennedy hockey books. And so I, on my Kindle, and I've slowed way down because I just have been tired at night. So I finished the play this week, which is number 3 of the Briar, and I think there's only 4. So I'm on the last one right now. But this one is, Hunter and, Demi, and it's good. This one is an interesting premise, like the family drama, etc., is interesting on this one. And part of the storyline is like a carryover from the book 2, where Hunter he went a little crazy the year before and was like a bit of a horn dog, and then got his wrist broken in their like the game before playoffs, and they lost the game, they didn't go to playoffs, but he got his wrist broken because he slept with an opposing team member's girlfriend and had no idea, but like, just because he was being a bad horn dog, he takes a vow of celibacy for the season. But like a college hockey player that's unattached taking a vow of celibacy is like a little bit hilarious. Anyway, it's a little hilarious. Okay, the next 5 books. I've read 5 more books. Okay, I'm going to go through these quickly. I did absolutely just read romance. So I talked about the first one of these like 2 weeks ago. This is the Cocky Kingmans book. So it's a family of like professional football players. And so the first one's about the older brother. The second one's about the second oldest brother. And so this one's called The Weiner Across the Way. And these are all like funny plays on animal names that are, you know, also innuendos. So this one, though, there is a wiener dog in it. Like, that's the joke, right? So this one is about the second oldest brother, who's also a player for the it's just funny because she says it's in a real place, Denver, and they're playing football, professional football, but instead of going through whatever she may feel like she would need to do to call them the Broncos, she instead renames the team the Mustangs. And she does this for the other teams they're playing too, and it's very funny because like there are just like other alternate words, like you totally know what she's talking about, right? Anyway, so he's also a Mustang, and he's like a lineman, a defensive lineman. Yeah, because he's like sacking the quarterback all the time. Anyway, he's really good, kind of like a tough guy on the field, and has a reputation for being kind of like a surly a-hole. So the female lead in this her name is Kelsey Best, and she is essentially like, and she's not like a replacement for Taylor Swift. They talk about Taylor Swift and Beyonce, but she's like that level of star singer, and she is feeling like at an like writer's block and like an unmotivated time in her career, though she's doing like stadium tours. She's just like really exhausted. She's overworked. And he helps her to take some time off. Anyway, it's really sweet. Okay, so I read the third one of this too, so I'm going to jump into that, and then I'll tell you some things I really like about these books in general. So the next one is called The Pussy Next Door, and that's the only one. That and The Cock Across the Block, like, or Down the Block, have like little stars in their name. Like, those are both like, it's a cat. That's what they're referring to, but also, you know what I'm talking about. So, this number 3, this one is about actually the youngest of the brothers that's in the NFL. His name is Hayes, and the girl next door who doesn't actually, like, I don't think she actually grew like right next door, but her uncles live next door to him. Anyway, but her name is Willa, and this one, I mean, okay, I get it. I guess I get it. She has some like emotionally damaging family things, even though like she has a pretty good family life, but like she has a real crap mom essentially. And she likes to travel. So she didn't go to college, but she just started traveling. So she's already been lots of places in the world as a young person, and her and Hayes were in school together. So like she comes back and helps her uncles out with something and stays for a little while, and they fall in love. But like their big conflict is that she wants to still be a world traveler and he wants to continue being a football player. What I don't love about this book over the other ones is that the solution they came up with was fine, but what I didn't love is like I felt like neither, like they're both very young in their personality, like in the conflict, that like at one point he seems like maybe he's gonna think about doing something other than football, even though that's like what he says he's only good at. But like his family always calls him like the genius, that he could do anything. And she like says, you know, internal comments about like, oh, and I found home. My home is wherever Hayes is. But then also is like, well, I can't stay in Denver. I just, you know, whatever. Like, it just feels a little bit juvenile. But what I do really love about these books and how she does them is just like, there's never a miscommunication. Well, there could be a miscommunication issue, but it's not like some communication issue happens and now we must break up or be separate, which to me means that your foundation wasn't quite as strong as you thought it was going to be. But one of the things that happens in like so many romance things, like some big blow up and then, oh, but we love each other so much we come together. Well, communication is foundation for a lot of relationships, and if your communication was better, you wouldn't have this thing happen. Anywho, but that's not what happens in these. She very much like creates these like really strong foundations that when an issue arises, they are solving it together. And I love that. I think these are so, anyway, great. I think like, I'm a big fan. This one just came out in June, the third one, and the fourth one comes out in September. So however these releases are happening, I know this happens sometimes for series like this. If there are multiple written by the author, they'll just stack them so they happen quickly. Like, I don't know. Anyway, so that one was good. Okay. Then I read another Lynn Painter book, and this is one of her more teeny romance ones called Betting on You. And the weird thing about the description is like says something that's like, it's like 10 things I hate about you. I don't really think it is. This one was okay. I don't love her teen romances quite as much because I think she writes them like they're teenagers, and I think she does actually a pretty good job of not giving them too much emotional competency as adults, even if they've gone through some things that would give them some more emotional intelligence than some teenagers. But the main characters in this are two kids who essentially like met each other years before and were instantly kind of like at odds, and that's Bailey and Charlie, and they met on a flight as like solo teen flyers, which like Charlie was like, oh, are you a divorced kid? And this was her first trip after her parents' divorce. So he rubbed her the wrong way, and she was kind of being an uptight, rule follower. It's cute. They end up working at the same place during, I don't even know if it's the summer, just like a teenager job, like an after school job. We don't have to go into all the things that happen, but essentially like, they end up becoming friends and then more. But what I don't love about it over everything that kind of just like annoyed me was Bailey's outlook on her parents divorce. And I can't really, my parents are divorced. I can't really relate because my parents weren't together. They like divorced when I was young. So like she's having a hard time just like they divorced when she's a teenager, and then the dad remarries or gets in a relationship, but she lives with her mom and he sort of falls off, so then she feels like she's losing her family. But then her mom starts dating and she is a real brat about it. And like I don't know what that's like because my mom did not do that. So like to have somebody spend all their time at your house then and for you to feel like you are losing your parent, I kind of understand. But she, as much as she talks about her and her mom being like best friends, she never talks to her about it. And she's like 17 or 18. And like I don't know how I would have felt if my mom was like seriously dating someone, but she dated somebody when I was in college and then he was around a lot, and like I guess like I didn't care that much. But I wasn't trying to hold on to an old family picture. So I don't know. Maybe I just like couldn't relate and I felt like being like, grow up. But she's a teenager in this. So she, you know, she doesn't have to. She comes around. She just, they're just like it's really repetitive, the internal dialogue too. Okay, sorry, let's go on. The next ones I read were Twisted book 1 and 2, which is Twisted Love and Twisted Games, and these are always available on the library for Snohomish Isle counties. And so I was just like, they always show up as like popular, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna read one of them. The first one is more, I get why it's like more twisted, like it's a little bit dark, like the main character is like some, you know, misunderstood alpha billionaire, blah blah blah, but I really like him. He's kind of crazy. His name is Alex, and Ava is the main character, and she is a little innocent, a little bit younger, like best friend's little sister kind of thing. He's pretty effed up. The things that happen are pretty messed up, like not just like making, yeah, just like, yeah, I'm not gonna give away because it was a pretty good twist. Actually, I didn't see all of that coming. I was like, oh, what? But I thought it was kind of nice because after the big blow up or whatever, it's not like grand gesture, I forgive you. It's like a long time before she even entertains talking to him again. And I appreciate that, even with overt gestures over and over. So yeah. The second one though is about her, Ava's one of her best friends, and I think the books are going to be about like the 4 girls, but this person is a princess of a small principality inside of Europe, you know, like all of these fake ones that happen in books. Anyway, so yeah, so Bridget's a princess who like goes to school in the States. That's why she's friends with these other people. I mean, their school's supposed to be outside of like DC, so it's not a big deal that she's a princess going to college in the US. Anywho, she of course falls in love with her bodyguard. You kind of know that that's happening at the end of the first book, and then they go into like backwards in time and how it happened. I appreciate that they don't spend a lot of time on the past up to like, you know, where we are in current times in the timeline, but it's really polarizing if you look at the comments on Goodreads. There's like 1 stars and 4 and 5 stars reviews. It's got pretty high ratings generally speaking, but like just the comments and stuff. I do think that these are not the best written like ever romance things, but they're good. Like the entertainment quality is there for sure. I do think this one drug on a little bit long, and like the surprises or whatever and the conflict were like fine, but like also kind of like more meh, like a little bit more. The first one I just, yeah, was like a little cray. Okay, I'll read the rest. I think there's 4 in the series, and they're perfectly good nighttime knitting content. Oh, these are rather spicy though. So if you are averse to the spice, you probably don't want to read them. Like quite a few very spicy explicit scenes in them. Okay, that's what I read this week. My future plans are for this week. I mean, obviously, I just cast on a bajillion things. So I'll cast on my last test knit that I just got into. I mean, I did just hours before this get the email that I'm in it. So I will cast that on tomorrow probably. And then it's a long weekend, so I've got an extra day here, but I am planning to finish this spin tonight so I can ply tomorrow, so I can get my A90 Mess braids on my wheel this weekend. The Yarn Jam, in case you forgot, this is my Yarn Jam color. This is what I'll be spinning next. This is going on sale next Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern, so 9 in the morning here. She'll have things that are all ready to ship, and then she'll have pre-order things. Like, so she said the capacity is gonna be relatively high. She doesn't know how long it'll stay open, just until she hits capacity. If you do know that you want some though, I would say like go grab it early-ish, at least in the weekend. Cause she doesn't, we don't know what's going to happen with this, but we do have a couple podcasters in this collection that are really popular and have lots of spinning followers. So I don't want you guys to get like left in the dust there and for them to be out. Or, you know, for Trisha to run out of like fully run out of braids. This is the non-tweed Shanico. I will be spinning this for my sweater spin. I am going to do a little bit of lay 2 or 3 of the braids out next to each other and think a little about how I want to do the color splitting for this. But yeah, so get planning for your whatever you want to buy. If you want to buy something from the podcaster collection, I still am debating on what I want. I'm gonna buy something for sure. Don't forget, you'll get a discount. I'll have the discount code in next week's episode. I'll put it on my Instagram. I'll put it in my link tree also, so you can just grab it right from my bio on Instagram. I'll put it at the top of this. It's just A Naughty Mess when you go on to check out. Just use all caps A Naughty Mess. I'll put it on this video as well as next week's. So if you're a little bit behind, you'll still be able to take advantage. Again, that's going to be September 6th. And remember, none of us are getting a kickback from this. We're just advertising because we're so excited that we got colors to collaborate in this, and it's so fun. Trisha was she's excellent to work with. She does have also yarn, so if you won't get a discount on that with the code. It's only for the podcaster braids, but if you just are looking on her website, she has like a really nice bamboo blend, a silk blend, a yak blend, and she has Shanico yarn. So if you want to just knit with Shanico, if you're not a spinner and you want to take advantage of that, I think she has it in DK weight, maybe fingering also, but Ariel has some, and if you watch her podcast, she's been talking about it, so she's going to start knitting with that. Maybe she already has this week. So yeah, okay, that's exciting. What else? Oh, so one other thing to chat about this week is I did mention that I maybe won't do another make along this year, but I'm already changed my mind. So in my Discord chat, oh, that's the other thing I want to say. We'll do a Discord video call next Friday. And not everybody's votes are in probably, but I'm going to pick next Friday, which was option 1 I put in the Discord, because now on Sunday we are doing a knit and spin time at Maya's house, and she's a little bit further away from all of us, so we're going to have to drive down there, and so I don't want to like rush myself with doing 2 things on that day. So we are going to do a happy hour type call. I might start it a little bit early, so like East Coasters, if that's a little late for you, you can join early. I'll put that in as an option. But yeah, so we're gonna do a knit chat next week. So if you want to chat with me live, like I'll be on that. You can just join the Discord. And the call is going to be just hosted in Discord. That's worked pretty fine for us lately. I'll always have a backup option of Google if Discord's doing a weird thing. I have a Google, like a paid license I can use. And then, yeah. Oh, so on the Discord, somebody asked, should we do an unspun make along? And I think that's what we're going to do. So I really want, this was part of my fall plans. I want to do an unspun. So I have knitted in, and so that's what I'll be using. An unspun knit. I don't know what it's going to be yet, like what project I'm going to use, but I'm going to open that chat sometime mid-September, and I'm going to shoot for mid to the end of September, and I'm going to shoot for a cast on date of like mid-October. So that'll give me like 2 months to finish a project by the end of the year. But that's just, I just want to use some. I just want to try it. I want to make something. I might hold it with mohair. I might hold it. I would really love to hold it double. That would be the most ideal scenario, is I don't have to buy any yarn to do it. I'll just hold it double. Also, because that would be nice to see what it like really knits up to be. Ursula said she would, she's one of the viewers in the Discord, and she said that she would make along with me, and Leah, who's also in the Discord, was like, hey, should we do that as the make along? Great idea, both of you. That'll motivate me to actually pick a pattern and do it. So that's why I'll probably open the chat a little early so we can decide, and maybe our, we'll do a separate call, or we'll just do a call as like the October call will be sort of like also the cast on call, which will be like mid to early October. Again, I'm trying to host these monthly. They're just chats with me, totally informal, not like we're doing anything, just sharing projects that we're doing and just having fun. Yeah, that's all. That's all the things that are happening. That's so exciting though. Yeah, great idea, friends, to keep me motivated while I also keep deciding to test patterns, which I should not be testing. I'm really excited for all 3 of these tests. I'm ready for fall knits. So these cable-y yummy tests are like giving me life. Don't forget, Haley sweater is out today. So if you want to purchase it, if you liked watching me make that a couple months ago, I'll flash the picture up here again. It's my red Christmas cable sweater. It was a really fun make. The shaping, all of the things on it are really, really, really beautiful. The detailing is good. And I think I was saying like all of these, when we were following them, all of the charts were in Stitch Fiddle, but I think she actually downloaded the charts and they're just like regular charts in your pattern. I liked them being in Stitch Fiddle. There were things I didn't love about that, like as a user experience. It's not necessarily better to have them in the PDF. I mean, then you don't have like the row follower to follow along with, though that was a little bit of a pain when you had to go back to it. So I think they're just regular charts. Just wanted to put that out there as like a slight difference. But yeah, it's live in Ravelry. So if you are interested, go check it out. Yeah, that's all, friends. Okay. I had so much fun chatting with you this week, as always. If you want to let me know what you were working on, I love to hear it. There were a lot of really fun fall plans last week, so if you need some inspiration that's not just me, go through the comments from last week. There were a lot of like really good projects listed in there, which I'm excited to see. Don't forget, you can friend me on Ravelry. I will friend you back. Yes, I do a little bit stalk everybody's Ravelry queue. I don't know. That's like a fun, it's not the best website out there by any means, but it is fun to go through your friend list and you can see, you can choose what you're looking at. So I like look at cast on pictures for people, like what projects they've recently added or updated. As inspiration, I love to see what you guys are making. And I'm always available on Instagram. Hit me in the DMs if you have questions about certain things. I love to chat with all of you for real as well. So it's not, I mean, maybe it's weird. I know that some people think it's really weird to like make online friends, but hey, you get to hear me chat so much at you. I also love some reciprocal relationship building here. So yeah, anyway, the Discord's always there for you if you want like more of a regular forum. You don't want to DM me separately, totally fine. The conversation's not super crazy over there, but really fun. People sharing pictures of what they're making, and getting some, you know, asking questions and getting inspiration. So that's all. I will talk to you guys next week. Have a good one. Bye.